Just to clarify exactly what we do know, we've been told by the accident emergency services here and Leicester City Football Club, who have handed with the emergency services the investigation already over to the Air Accident Investigation Branch, who say they are looking into a helicopter crash that occurred just behind us, around 40 metres into the car park away from the stadium, involving a helicopter that took off at 8:30 last night, British time. That helicopter, we know, belonged to the owner of the club, a Thai billionaire, who, unfortunately, we believe through sources who we trust, was on board that helicopter. That is unconfirmed as yet. We've spoken to several people who, for sympathetic reasons and respect to the family, don't obviously want to go public with information they feel they've gleaned or have learned from people in and around the stadium last night. But because it's a well-known fact that the owner arrives on a match day in his helicopter and lands on the football pitch itself and then departs in that manner too, the fact that we know that the helicopter, in fact, did leave last night, according to official sources, it is natural and logical to conclude that the owner was on board and may have been involved in what we believe, tragically, to be a potentially life-threatening crash. We've had no confirmation in terms of the medical situation regarding any of the passengers on board. Again, sources have suggested to us, we understand there may have been 4 passengers as well as the pilot, and because there's been no word from the hospital or any other source in terms of casualties or death at this stage, we have no more information with regard to that.
On a bitterly cold Sunday outside the King Power Stadium, Bernie Webster tried in vain to hold back the tears. He is one of hundreds of Leicester City fans who had flocked there, shaken and stunned by the news that the helicopter belonging to the team's revered chairman Vichai Srivaddhanaprabha had crashed following Saturday's match against West Ham United. All 5 people on board the helicopter are believed to have died. Fans of all ages laid shirts, flowers and scarves. One child cried as she held her parents' hands. One man couldn't find the words to express his despair. Most stood in silence as they thought about the Thai billionaire who means everything to this provincial English football team in the country's East Midlands. "The guy loved the club, you could tell he loved the club," said 67-year-old Webster, of the man who bankrolled one of the most improbable sporting triumphs of all time. "And he must have loved the people." Srivaddhanaprabha took control of Leicester City in 2010, when it was in English football's second tier. 4 years later, the club was back in the Premier League. 2 years after that, it won the league for the first time in its history, overcoming pre-season odds of 5,001. But Srivaddhanaprabha is not just revered for his sporting achievements. His family donated $2.5 million towards the building of a new children's hospital in the city. And the fans gathered around the stadium are as keen to talk about philanthropy as they are on-field glory. "What he's done, not just for this club but for the city," said Webster. "The money he's put in the hospital. An absolutely amazing man. On and off the field philanthropy." A unifying theme among many of the tributes is gratitude. Scores of balloons, shirts and flags marked with the words "Thank you." A drum wrapped in a Leicester scarf carried the message, "A massive thank you for everything you have done for all of us at LCFC. You'll be sadly missed." AJ Pancholi was one of the many Leicester fans who had gathered outside the stadium on that May night in 2016 when the club's title triumph was confirmed. He smiled as he remembered being among fellow jubilant Leicester fans, driving down to the stadium with his cousin at 10 p.m. and not leaving until 1 a.m. Pancholi was back in the same spot Sunday out of admiration for Srivaddhanaprabha. "Today isn't about football at all," said the 36-year-old. "As an individual, he's almost like an honorary Leicesterian here. He's done huge amounts for charity, the local area. You're looking at a human being here," he added. "It transcends football. It's a loss to Leicester as a place rather than just the football club alone. A great human being." Pancholi is a Leicester season ticket holder with his father, Alesh. Both had been at the stadium less than 24 hours earlier for the 1-1 draw with West Ham. "Yesterday, as soon as the match finished we got into our cars and we were listening to Radio Leicester," recalled 59-year-old shop owner Alesh. "As soon as we got home there were news flashes that the helicopter has crashed and it was unbelievable, devastating. I can see a lot of people here who are not stadium supporters but they are Leicester City," he added. "They live here and they love Leicester and they love what the owners of Leicester have done for them." While Alesh was wearing a royal blue Leicester City woolen hat and scarf, AJ was not sporting the club's colours. "I'm not wearing my shirt today, because I'm not representing Leicester City fans," explained AJ. "I'm coming as a person who's in shock at what's happened to another person. I intentionally didn't, wear Leicester colours, because that's not what I'm here representing today. I'm here in honor of respecting a great human being.